Hi there, great and glorious and be famous one day Nick Dutch, back on the camera again for yet another delightful tarot reading. Alright, now we got this wonderful inquiry today called Diosafide. I think that's the correct pronunciation, I don't know. Well, she started at the top of her message saying, please, 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 pick me, pick me, pick me, pick me. So, hey, you're next in the rota, that's all I can do, okay? I don't jump through the rota. The rota is just the private messages, and I go through them one at a time. And yeah, there always will be a bit of a delay because, you know, there is. This is becoming a popular service, it's becoming a popular channel, and as a result of that, I want to make sure that, you know, I'm getting enough stuff out there, and it can be difficult at times because I've got to work for a living. I'm giving these readings away free of charge, so you can see the way that Nick Dutch works. It's rather like when you go to a really good foreign restaurant and you can see them actually preparing the food in front of you. And what I'd like you to do is to see this as the man preparing the food in front of you. Of course, that's not the way it is when you get a reading off me normally, because it will be via telephone on maybe keen.com or Psychic Console, or via internet chat on Live Person, and you know, as a result it can feel rather impersonal. But I want you to get to know me, Nick Dutch, as you know, as a reader. Now, Diosafide's got a very interesting situation. She's got very heavily involved with this guy. And there's a tremendous love going on there. Tremendous. But he's about to get married to somebody else. And so she knows this is a soulmate connection, and she wants to know what is the purpose behind this. Well, I'm going to do a quick reading on this anyway, but let's just talk about the whole soulmate issue. There was once a great reader who I knew, and I spoke to him a lot. We were part of the same online forums, and he had this wonderful interpretation of what soulmates are about, and I agreed with it. He says that soulmates are not necessarily meant to be together. You can get a bit of extra learning or sort of sense of bond or familiarity from your soulmate, and they're there to help you, and you're there to help them. Now, guys can get soulmate connections with girls, girls can get soulmate connections with guys, guys can get soulmate connections with other guys when they're not homosexual, okay? It's just that that's the way it is, that's the bond, until such time as they both grow in different directions. And that's the same with the romantic type soulmate connection, right? The way that I tend to interpret these things is that for a good romantic soulmate connection, you can go through the soulmate stage, which is when you feel the love properly, and then it dies. Then you have to work on the responsibility connection. Now, in this particular case, you've had some great opportunities to try and bring this around, but unfortunately, he's gone with somebody else. So, what was the purpose there? Well, without me doing a reading, what I would say was that he was a wounded soul in one particular way or another. You were there to nurture him to a point whereby he could start to walk free himself, and that's what happened on his side of things. On your side of things, you had to learn in preparation for a later stage in this incarnation what it's like to love someone and then let them go. Alright, and maybe, just hypothetically, that's to do with children in the future. I don't know. But let's see what the reading says about you and him together, okay? This is the standard 8-card relationship reading. See what kind of thoughts, feelings, moods, and energies and all the rest of that are coming through today. Alright, conflict, 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 conflict. Now on his side of things, finding everything a bit too much like hard work, being out of balance and out of whack. Now I said that he was maybe a bit of a wounded soul. I think that would make sense with what I'm seeing there. He needs to work on himself big time. You've helped him and you've assisted him to do a lot of growing, okay? But the sense of conflict and strife was there. Now, you know, you can love someone or you can hate someone and still have a very strong bond with them, because there's maybe issues which still needed to be dealt with. Alright, there's people who I personally have had a deep relationship with, and I still love them, but I also know I can't be with them, alright, for one reason or another. Now, on your side of the reading, alright, there is a sense of regret there, okay, because the signs here we got for the Universe card, they're Saturnian connected. Yes, they're talking about learning. They're talking about learning through pain, or learning through some variety of discomfort, or having gone through some kind of unpleasantness in order to get the learning that you personally needed. So there was something about the experience of loving someone and losing them, which is really, really important for you right now. And maybe it's a question of developing acceptance that the world moves on, that people move on, and that people change. And maybe there's something deeper for yourself, something which goes back to your youth. A desire to hang on to something, which was taken away from you, or someone who was taken away from you when you were very young. I think that would make a lot of sense too. And so this relationship here is not just to help you in the future, it's to help you to deal with the past. So think to yourself, what is it about my past that I have not been able to let go of? And what can I learn from this relationship that can help me to let go of that? Anyway, the future part of the reading, short term, mid term and long term. Yeah, it's okay. There's some anger, there's some difficulties in dealing and coping, but that's all passing until you reach the Valor signs. And I love those signs there, 7 of Staves. That moment when you can brag and you can say, this is how I got over it. And I don't think you'd have had those signs if I was to have read for you, let's say, 6 months ago or a year ago. I think you'd only have those signs in the here and now, because now you're at the point whereby you need to realize that, things are moving on for you. This is the most important growing up situation that you have got to go through at this time in your life. And I feel there's acceptance and there's wisdom that you need to think about. And that's really the most important thing now. So what is actually negative about this particular reading? Well, the only thing that I can think of is the fact we've got signs of conflict here. Alright, there's conflict in a lot of different combinations of situations. Those conflict signs, they were reversed, talking about the conflict not necessarily bringing about a victory in this particular case. That's the way it seems to be under these circumstances. On his side of things, I don't feel he could have been good for you in the long term anyway. You can love him, but would he actually be good for you? I don't think so. He's got too much work to do on himself. And you've got a lot of letting go to do in order to make yourself happier in the future. But the good news for you, and this is the happy ending, okay, is you're going to be able to do the letting go that you need to in order for you to move forward with your life. Alright, I feel that this has a real spiritual importance for you, spiritual as in the mind, the heart, your being, to understand what it means to let go in a very positive way, and to be proud of the fact that you have to go through this. And to be proud to realize it's important for you to let go so that you yourself can move further forward. That's what I feel. Alright, it's a good reading. I mean, I often say a reading is good despite the fact it could be reading on a difficult situation. Because sometimes the reading itself can just explain matters a little more. Just give you that extra bit of sprinkling of form and shape and structure on a situation you might not be able to understand otherwise. And that's something you've got to remember as well. Okay? But looking good for you, for your development. And yes, I do feel there is another and a better quality relationship around the corner. But first things first, and that is deal with the letting go. Okay? Comments in the comment section, requests via private message. Great and glorious Nick Dutch signing out for now. I'll speak again very soon, yeah?